When it needs strings.
Depends on your political
Here you go.
Paper ready. We'll now call to order the regular meeting of the Village of Middleville Council for March 10th, 2026. Could we please have a roll call?
Kevin Smith.
Here.
Steve Baldry.
Here.
Robert Bishop.
Here.
John Osterman.
Here.
Mackenzie Peters. Here.
All right, and if we could have everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, for our first agenda item, approve the agenda, which has been amended, by the way.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda, amended agenda.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to the consent agenda, approval of minutes for the regular meeting of February 24th, 2026, approval of bills as of March 5th, 2026 for $324,901.64.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
We have a motion with support. Could I please have a roll call?
Steve Baldry.
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters. Aye. John Osterman.
Aye.
Robert Bishop.
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, limited 3 minutes per speaker and is in effect for public comment. Any persons attending may comment on any subject. Please state your name and direct your comments to the chair. The Village of Middleville rules of procedure prohibit the village council from debating or discussing issues with the public. Hearing none. Moving on. We got some reserve time. First part of that is going to be to recognize Mr. Hamilton and Ms. King for their service, their public service. Mr. Hamilton served on village council until recently, and Ms. King served as the chair of the DDA. And I have a couple of things that I'd like to hand out.
You can do it out front if you want, we can take pictures.
For sure. Mr. Hamilton, if you don't mind meeting me at the podium. There you go, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your service. Thank you, sir. Placeholder.
Oh, good.
Just in case you needed that.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ms. King, if you don't mind. Sure. Yes, thank you so much. See those in the Sun and News, right?
Sure.
We don't have a data center going up, so we're not as flashy. All right, moving on. And just, again, a quick comment. Public service is a very complicated thing, and it's a lot of time, and most of it's a thankless volunteer job, but both Ms. King and Mr. Hamilton have served, and they will be sorely missed for their contributions. So just wanted to reiterate that, as it's very hard to find good people, and both of them were exceptional at their roles. So thank you for your service. Moving on to Mr. Richardson. And thanks for joining us.
More than glad to come up. Hand these out so you have something to reference as I'm talking. More from the end of the year. You're welcome. You didn't have to.
Oh, right, thank you.
You're welcome. So I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to speak tonight. I'll first go over the key statistics information that we had at the end of the year. We're always trying to look for how do we derive best outcomes. And to do that, we've been chasing cardiac arrest data and stroke data throughout the year to see how our outcomes would be. A lot of it's based on response times and obviously identification of cardiac arrest by the public. We offer free CPR instruction. So when we've had really good outcomes, which a lot of these we had this last year, all had been with people who started CPR prior to our arrival, prior to first responders' arrival. We've had not as good outcomes this year, all have been because CPR hasn't been started prior to our arrival. So we're going to be pushing out heavily again this year to try to get people to come to our free classes that we offer at the Township Hall quarterly. We also offer, excuse me, we also offer first aid classes. So a couple of things to talk about initially is the response times that we have. We have out of the whole year last year, we had out of the chute time, which is the time of the tone dropping. So we have an ambulance or fire truck leaving the station, minute and 10 seconds. Our goal this year is to get down to 40 seconds during the day, minute and 40 seconds at night, get an extra minute to go to the bathroom. So that's what we're working on. Our response times actually fell a little bit in the last month and a half, but that's all due to weather. When we look at the weather patterns that we've had. Our average response time through outside of Thornapple Township is 11 minutes. Inside of Thornapple Township was 8 minutes and 10 seconds. And the goal for first responders is to have someone on scene within 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's kind of a national average is what we want. We want ALS on scene within 15, and we're averaging in the township less than 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Outside the township, 11 minutes, still below the national average of 15 for priority 1 calls. So another goal that we tried to hit last year, when I first came here, we were on scene for over 30 minutes on a call. But really the gold standard is to be off scene within 20 minutes. And we got down to 24 minutes last year, and we're working hard to reduce that down to under 20 minutes. For traumas, significant traumas, under 10 minutes, which we met, 9 minutes and 50 seconds. And stroke and STEMI, which STEMI is a ST elevation MI, heart attack. We want to have less than 15 minutes to identify and be en route to the hospital. And our times for identification were 9 minutes and 38 seconds to figure out if someone was having a heart attack. And for stroke, we were averaging 14 minutes and, let's see if I wrote it down, 14 minutes and 32 seconds for having to be fast on identification of stroke. For CVAs, we went back and looked at any markers that could be stroke-like symptoms that we might have missed. One example has been that the hospital's been really looking at is people with vertigo, dizziness. So we went back and looked at any criteria that could be a possible stroke and see if we missed it. And we identified that we were able to identify 100% of stroke identification out in the field. And we had identified that in 14 minutes and 32 seconds, and we beat the national average, which is 20 minutes for identification. So our crews are doing a great job. I want to dive in just a little bit into cardiac arrest data. So we had 15 cardiac arrests in our service area. And out of the 15 cardiac arrests, we had 10 which had ROSC. ROSC is return of spontaneous circulation. So their heart started beating, their blood pressure, that's 66.7%. The national average out of hospital cardiac arrest, which you'll see in that information, is the OHCA, is 29.7%. So significantly better than the hospital. And then in hospital, identified cardiac arrest is 61.7%. So we beat in-hospital cardiac arrest data. Now, some of this could be just been lucky and didn't have any comorbidities. We had almost all the ones we had Roscon, all 10 of them had CPR started prior to our arrival. The other 5 did not. So we're really gonna try to get a message out this year that we really want people to learn free CPR at the station. So out of the 10 that we got Ross back, we had 4 that were discharged from the hospital. We only know of 1, we only tracked down 1 person that we were able to find out what their true outcome was. We know that the other 3 were discharged to facilities. And I don't know what facilities were, and they wouldn't tell us what their outcomes were anyway. So, but they were discharged out of the hospital. So really incredible work by the crews here. They worked really hard to have some of this. So now look forward to just current data. In the last month, we had 236 calls. And out of that, we had about 21 calls were paid on call, where members of the community come to the station and are responding, as well as the full-time employees. We averaged 6.8 members per call. For structure fires, we averaged 8.25 members in the last month. Actually, the last 10 days, we've had 3 structure fires. And then for motor vehicle accidents, 7.2 firefighters per call. So pretty great response. Average response time this month in Thornapple Township, 8 minutes and 2 seconds. And I don't break it down for the village, but the village is obviously significantly less than the entire township. And then outside the township, 11 minutes and 3 seconds this month. And out the door in 1 minute and 1 second. So crews are doing a great job. Just to give a perspective for last year, the village had 502 calls for service, which is about 16% of our alarms. We did 30,063 calls total. And some infrastructure stuff. We're trying to piggyback on your guys' redoing Railroad Street. We're trying to redo our parking lots at the same time. So we appreciate the help with that. And we're upgrading the HVAC system at this station right now. We're trying to use Public Act 62, which will help finance that. So those are some highlights. I'm always willing to come in and talk about anything you want to hear about to nauseam. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, and I appreciate you allowing me to come, and it sounds like we're going to make this a quarterly event, so thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, moving on to Middleville Housing Commission.
Well, I just visited with somebody that said that they had applied, so I'm kind of excited to hear about that. I'm Martha Reef Banish, and I'm the director at the Middleville Housing Commission. I've worked there for 5 years, almost 6, and I've been the director for 3 years. The reason that I came is we have, in the last couple of years, lost 2 commissioners who've served for nearly 20 years. As you know, volunteerism is down as an unpaid position. And we are funded by HUD. We have requirements that we have to fulfill. We have 5 commissioners, 3 is a quorum. Quorum's an issue. You can't take a vote unless you have a quorum. And I spoke to our board chair, Mike Graber, about it, and we made a proposal. Currently, you must reside in the village to apply to be on the board. We suggested that it expand out to the township instead of just being in the village. Really, the only interchange of money between the village and us is pilot. We pay 10% of our rental revenues to the village at the same time that everybody else pays their taxes. Otherwise, our funding comes from HUD. So there's not, what shall I say, preferred interest for people who live in the village as opposed to the township. You might think it would be otherwise, but other than the pilot, We have people apply from all over. Sometimes they have family members who live in the area, sometimes not. They've just heard that we have a beautiful facility and they apply. So, we're suggesting that perhaps we expand. Right now I have 4 commissioners. I suspect 1 will resign this year when they're up for renewal, and then we're down to 3. So, does anybody have any questions? If you'd like to come visit, please do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I believe we, Mr. Bishop on that.
yes,
So,
it was nice to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good information, yeah, and certainly I think something we'll contemplate, I think, in terms of expanding that footprint
Okay.
for sure. I don't know if we're gonna reach that conclusion this evening, but for
Okay.
sure, it's a good discussion point, I think. Once we get that information, we'll,
and if anything I can do to help provide any further information, I'm happy to do that.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, we have a bunch of event applications.
Tis the season. Tis the season.
It is the season. Thank goodness. Taking advantage of our beautiful downtown. I love that. Scroll up though. Stand by.
I heard you.
All right, so the first one on the agenda is the Middleville Pride event. Mine?
Good evening. I'm Kim Dannenberg. I am one of the co-organizers for Middleville Pride. And this year is our 4th annual event, and you should all have our event application in front of you. It's very similar to the previous years. I don't know, with the construction that's going to be going on Railroad Street, I don't think we're going to do food trucks this year. It's just too difficult to find a place for them to park. But other than that, everything else is status quo is what previous years were.
Do you want to make a request for your peddlers?
Yeah, I didn't put it on here. We typically have vendors under the pavilion, and in years past, we've requested that the peddler permit fees be waived for them. And I know that's been for some other events too, but we did it, I think, last year as well, so.
As a side note, we don't have the insurance yet. If your approval, you can, what am I trying to say? If you make a motion to approve this, you want to include the no peddler fees and that it's contingent on the insurance arriving before the event. Which is, again, we do for a couple, there's another one like that tonight too, so.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve the event permit for the Middleville Pride event. What were the stipulations around that?
It would be contingent on the insurance arriving prior to the event, so we have to have it by Friday and then before the event. I don't necessarily need you to put that time frame in, but just prior to the event, and that we waive our peddler fees on the village side.
Okay, insurance prior to the event and waiving the peddler fees. But I believe in the past, we waived it for everyone but food trucks.
Yes.
So in case you
Correct,
do want
yeah.
food trucks, I would want that
Okay.
stipulation in there as well.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Okay. Support. Okay. We have a motion with support to approve the Middleville Pride event permit on August 8th, 2026, contingent on insurance paperwork being provided, as well as waiving peddler fees, which would exclude food trucks. And that would just be, any further discussion regarding that?
I just, a comment is that in years past, I know we've discussed this, my second year, is that, yes, we are not promoting it, okay, we're just approving the permit. But unfortunately, the illusion is because it's held on our property, in our pavilion, that we're sponsoring, no matter, we can put big words out there and say, we're not sponsoring this, we're just allowing them, you know, they did the permit process, they did. So that, to me, is still an issue that I'm not sure how we can solve. That is an issue for me. People I talk to don't think it should be allowed on our property. If they want to do it in a grocery store parking lot or somewhere else, some other property, that would help out. And I know it's maybe over a year. I understand if you don't want to go. I still oppose, now it doesn't say family friendly drag shows. So I think drag shows belong in a closed setting, not an open setting. So, but that's just my comments about the drag.
I have a comment.
Sure.
The Bill of Rights states that they have a right to do that. They have a right to assemble and so on. We're not sponsoring anything. They're asking to use the property that a lot of them pay taxes on. So until there's some display that's incorrect, as it would be with any other venue, pick an event of pro-choice, pro-life, Second Amendment, I can go on and on and on. They all have the right to assemble and until they show that they're destructive or pick a thing. And because we may not agree with the event or like it, doesn't mean they don't have a right to do it. And that's why I support it.
I'd like to move the question.
With that, this requires a voice vote. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to the next event. My Sister's Closet and Kindred. Welcome back again.
Thank you. It's been a minute.
We love seeing you.
Yes. So I'm Lauren with My Sister's Closet, and I'm back from Kindred. So we're back because we'd like to host our Shop Hop event again. I don't think we did it we didn't do it last year. I think it's been 3 years now since we've done it. So we're excited to kind of bring it back, and we just want to have approval for the parking lot space and also the pavilion space. We've done that in years past, and it worked out really well because we're able to get a lot of vendors. I'm trying to think how many we had last year. I think it's around 35 total. Yeah.
This parking lot over here.
Right between, like, it used to be between the Vintage Treatment.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, where I'm at now. Yeah, so looking for approval for the event, but then also waiving the peddler's fee for that as well. We will potentially have food trucks. If we do, they would go ahead and do those peddler permits, but to any other vendors, we'd love to waive those.
Mr. President,
Just name.
I would like to make a motion to approve the Shop Hop with the stipulation that peddler permits get waived, but food truck permits, peddler permits do not.
Wait for everybody except for.
Huh?
Wait for everybody except for.
Yes, there we go. That's a simpler way of putting it. I'll type it the right way. Thank you.
Support.
All right, we have a motion to support. That's Mr. Bishop, in case you needed to know. Motion to approve My Sister's Closet and Kindred Shop Hop event permit on May 9th, 2026, to waive, also to waive peddler fees and, but do not exempt food trucks. Any further discussion?
Where do the vendors come from? and just all around?
So we actually host our own markets, aside from having Shop Pop. Lauren normally has hosted, what, 5 years worth of vendors out at the Berry County Fairgrounds. And then I host vendors that I have known for a long time out at Wildwood Family Farms at a market and like concert series event that I host out there. So we get a lot of people from all over the place to come into town, and it's normally a great turnout, so.
Is there a question on the insurance? There's no insurance check on there.
Oh, their insurance is here, sorry.
Pardon?
Their insurance is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion with support. Any other discussion? Glad that this was big the last time you did it, so
Yeah, it was
we
a
were
lot of
looking
fun.
forward to it.
Yep.
It's a great event. All right, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. Craig, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're gonna thread the needle before we start any major construction at that point, right?
So we're gonna start construction in the middle of July.
So
Yep.
we're good with that.
Yep.
All right. Motion, Uchi, DBA Crafted Leaf, Stephanie. Please. All right, great.
So I'm the new owner of Craft Leaf. We are planning on changing our name, our DBA. So our legal name is Mojo Boutique. And that came from my late husband. This is his dream. I'm just living it for him. So we'd like to do a grand opening on 4/18. By then, my attorney said that our name change will take place, our new logos will take place, and our new signage will take place. And we would like to do a grand opening just to tell my husband's story, tell everybody why we're here, become part of the community. And my love language is food. I love to have food trucks. I want to feed people and give grab bags away and just kind of get to know everybody. So that's our goal.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special event permit for the grand opening for Crafted Leaf.
This one would be contingent on insurance. We don't have that yet.
On insurance.
It was like your last grand opening, the parking was a real problem.
Yeah, so I'm new into this area, so I would be open to suggestions on how to handle that. Obviously, safety is a huge concern, and I want to make sure that everybody is safe. The lot next to us, so the empty lot right next to the car wash, that is ours as well. So I plan to utilize that space as much as I can, and then give the parking as much as I can. And then also there is a parking or an empty lot across the street from us, and I believe the bank owns that. We were going to brainstorm and see if we can do something along those lines with the bank, and utilize that. And then any street parking available.
The grab bags are gonna be what?
I'm not sure yet. So I'm gonna be real honest, I'm very new into the industry. My background is accounting. And like I said, I'm living my late husband's dream. So I'm kind of learning as I go. But from my understanding, I would have vendors out there. They would provide like goodie bags, like as in like stickers, keychains, the lanyards, t-shirts, that kind of stuff. So yeah, coupons to purchase stuff to get, 50% off or, that kind of thing. So.
Craig, would it make sense? I mean, given the parking situation, and if you do make an arrangement with the bank, I think Sergeant Ware should have review
I
the,
think he did review.
He looks
Did he?
at this.
And then if we can put you in contact with like the sheriff's posse and stuff like that, maybe they'd be
Absolutely.
interested in helping out.
Absolutely. I don't know how this would work, but my ex-husband is a sheriff in Van Buren County. And I did ask him if he would come on, just help. He knows his way around, so he would be available for that as well.
So
So,
we can put you in contact with the posse and.
Perfect.
maybe,
yeah, perfect, thank you.
in case there's a lot of people
Yeah.
crossing the road or whatever.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
busy area there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it is absolutely busy.
Okay.
I do have a question. Are you wanting to have our event or our peddler fees waived as well for your vendors? It's a $10 fee and they have to provide $1 million insurance policy. The only reason I'm asking is because this one, like the other things that we've waived, they're renting our facilities. This one is not renting our facilities. That is up to you guys. That does mean in the office, we have to do all those peddler permits for $10, but it's up to you guys.
Can I clarify, is that all my vendors that would be out there to give? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I have great relationships that I built with my vendors, so, you know, whatever you guys decide, I'm fine with.
I think the $10 fee is immaterial, but I do think obviously that we need to make sure that we're checking the checkbox for any
Absolutely.
insurance or whatever that's
Yeah,
required. on their
absolutely.
behalf,
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, she'll have insurance.
The
So by
blanket to
waiving,
cover your vendors, well, I guess it's her private property, right?
yeah,
So I guess-
it's for private property. So I would say we would still want to do it for any food truck, just like we've done on the other ones.
Yeah, I think any food trucks would be excluded from
Absolutely.
a vendor or a peddler fee, but,
Okay.
Sure.
Can you just tack that on to my motion, Marla?
Sure can.
And then did anyone support that?
No, there is no second yet.
And I will second that.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure if someone had.
At least I didn't hear anybody.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion with support to approve is it MOTU? MOTA, okay. Motion to approve the MOTA Boutique grand opening event permit on April 18th, contingent on insurance paperwork being provided prior to the event, excluding waiving food truck peddler fees,
Waive the other ones.
but waiving.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion?
She lists insurance here.
We don't have the
The
document.
binder.
Oh.
Yes, we don't have the document yet.
Rhonda, can I touch base with you on what, I think you sent me an example, I just need to make sure that I do it correctly.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
I do have a question, the insurance, do we need them to list us as
That's what they do.
I'm just wondering, are we sure about where it's not on our property, that she'll have a policy, but if she has a vendor that somebody wants to use, the insurance gonna cover the vendors as well?
We're not worried about that necessarily, we just wanna make sure that we're covered.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
The insurance is for us.
Well, that's what I'm saying, so, but if something happens to a vendor, her
It's
insurance-
basically to cover for us, not what happens to her, what if something happens to our property in the process.
That's what I'm saying, if
Yeah.
her vendor does the damage, I just want to make sure that that base is covered.
I mean, your vendors are gonna be,
I mean, they're
On
very
your
well known,
premise.
yeah, I mean, they're approved by the CRA, you know, I can only deal with, anybody that the state of Michigan approves, so.
For your
and
vendor to be
those
inside or
requirements.
outside.
I would like to do the food trucks and that outside.
All your vendors as well, or just the food trucks?
No, I think right now I have 3 vendors that would like to attend, but I think that we're gonna just do it in blocks of time.
Okay.
So I think that we would do it inside, it works better anyways, as far as, you know, yeah.
So we'll have the insurance and the proof of insurance cover village property. I think that's really all that we
Yeah.
need to be
And
concerned
actually,
about.
what I just thought of too is the state of Michigan does require insurance for their license to be active. I'm sorry if I talked over you, my fault.
That's right.
all right, we have a motion with, support. You have the conditions. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. All right. Moving on, so the UAW Local 1002.
Hi, I'm Valerie Satterfield. I am the chairwoman of our Women's Committee and head trustee for our executive board. We are wanting to do a Easter egg brunch and hunt at Calvin Hill Park on April 4th. The hunt will begin at 12:30 PM and we figure it will be done by 1:30 PM, clean up by 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's a community event.
Mr. President,
Ms. Manning?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Easter egg hunt for April 4th at Kelvin Hill Park.
Support. Motion with support. Any further discussion? Get to see the new playground that's been put in there.
I've seen it, it looks
Beautiful
nice.
there.
Lots of places to hide eggs.
Indeed. All right, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it.
Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Here I have none. Going to the next item, which is council and staff reports. Mr. Stolzenberg.
Good evening, council. So yeah, we alluded to it earlier, Railroad Street. We talked with the contractor, they're planning on beginning in the middle of July, just after the newly Heritage Day fete. So other than that, got the budget workshops listed on my report down below, so if you plug those into your calendar, that'd be appreciated. And if you have any questions, I'll entertain them.
I mean, I don't want to kick a horse that's hasn't been born yet, but the grant for the Paul Henry Trail.
Yeah, it's been a little bit frustrating, to say the least, dealing with, things we can't control. We had the thing ready to roll, for the MDNR grant last year, and really the grant administrator at the state was super excited about it, super excited about, improving the trailheads and all the things that went along with that. And then, we were in coordination with Department of Transportation for the Transportation Alternatives Grant, and then all of a sudden, the tribal entities decided that they wanted to have a say in it. So that was just kind of waiting for them to let us know, figure out.
So that's really the bottleneck
It
at this
really is,
stage.
yes.
Wow. Okay. Well,
But we are working towards you're gonna have a new resolution coming to your next meeting while I'm gone. Tanya from Williams and Works will be here to present that to you. It's gonna look exactly the same, basically, as the last one you approved last year, with similar supports and stuff like that. So gonna keep trying to just move it along, and hopefully the bottleneck will release at some point, so.
okay.
Moving at the speed of government.
Yes, indeed. All right. Moving on, Mr. Penn. Welcome.
Evening. As you saw in my report, we had a little hiccup at the wastewater plant. That reactor is being put back online this week, so we think we got hit with a high dose of copper and some other things. We're not 100% sure, but that's kind of what we're thinking. So hopefully that's back online. Well 6, we had to replace the pump in there. The motor went out in it, so we had to put a new one in. That was down less than a week. Other than that, hopefully we're about done with the snow. I would like to shout out to my crew for doing an amazing job this winter, keeping up with it. Seemed like every weekend they were coming in and plowing. They did a good job keeping up with it. We're gonna start pulling lift station pumps and lead service verifications. So, any questions?
Probably excited for shifting from winter to spring and summer operations.
Yes, great. So we can quit spending money on salt.
Yeah. Anything else?
I have one question. I've been asked by a few people if there's gonna be one past leak pickup this spring at all.
We were to give you an idea, I think they might have went out last week. I know Rob was talking about it. I will check and see. I'm pretty sure they did one pass. But I will see if we plan on doing another one. Rob kind of runs our day-to-day stuff on that. But yeah, that's starting next month, I believe, anyways, for the regular pickup. So with the weather and everything, and trying to catch up on some other stuff, so.
That's separate from the bag, right? Just this week. You're still picking up the bag, so. Or is that?
Yeah, that'll start on normal.
Okay.
So this was just trying to, because we didn't get through everything before the snow hit, there was some stuff still left out, so I think they went through and did a quick sweep through town just to get anything major, so.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're just kind of gearing up for April.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir, appreciate it. All right, the liaison reports.
I had a big one actually. So, we met TAPRC last week on Wednesday, to, assign officers and all that jazz, but mainly to look at our 5-year rec plan and see what goals we can achieve in the first year. A lot of what, the TAPRC board is now is mainly to help facilitate the movement of capital improvement plans within the village. And what we would like to achieve, the board would like to achieve this coming year is to help in any way we can to help facilitate new playground equipment or improvement of existing parks. I know that Calvin Hill was on our list, but we already had taken care of that this fall as the council approved that playground equipment. But that's something that we would, the TAPRC board would appreciate a more thorough discussion on from us, just to see how maybe we can help, or maybe just some kind of idea of what the council would like to tackle first as far as any improvements that would align with our capital improvement plan when it comes to park renovations. So the next meeting, I believe, is April, I want to say 14th, but I don't think that's correct, but it's sometime in April. The board meets quarterly, so hopefully we can have somewhat of an answer, or maybe Craig, you can reach out directly to that chair, which is still Catherine, to see like, hey, these are our capital improvement projects we're looking at for 2026, and maybe, you know, have that discussion
We
before the
could
next
sit down
meeting.
with you all, maybe even JD or Rob, sit down with you too and go over, you know, some of those ideas. I know Wilderness Park is, you know, could use some love for sure. Maybe that'd be a good one to focus on, but we can certainly.
Yeah, and that was one we had talked about. We had talked about that one, and Spring Park quite a bit. That needs some renovations. We talked about the Bark Park. We talked about maybe trail improvements, because that was, I mean, all the rec plan goals we have was based on all the community input, so we're really trying to stick to that. But because there's that grant for the DNR, or for the trails and the bridges, you know, we want to focus more on what else we can help the village do. So.
And that was approved, by the way. I received that earlier this week.
Perfect.
5-year rec plan was approved by the state.
Woot.
Yep.
All right. So, you know, something for a bigger conversation, something to think about. We've got about half dozen parks to consider, so. Those are my report.
Any other?
We didn't liaison last night because we were.
I liaised for 15 minutes today.
17.
17 minutes, okay. I don't want to exaggerate. And we just approved their budget, and we do have a number of items that the DDA has on their plate. I think it would be fair to share those. We are discussing snow removal. That does require an additional piece of equipment that we had discussed. We didn't have the opportunity to vote on it, but certainly seem to have consensus that they would like to contribute to the machinery that would make that happen. Also with the very large project that we're dealing with Railroad Street, there's some placemaking and some beautification that's gonna happen along that corridor there. So it will continue to just bolt on to what we're trying to accomplish here in the village center with the pavilion and the band shell and so on. So just good conversation. And I think with regard to contributing money, that certainly is on the docket. If we could just have only voted on it, it would have been great. But other than that, still moving forward. And I think they're very intentional about their direction now. And I feel like that's a really big win. And I'm excited to get some of those items in front of us here on this council to vote on. And that's all I have for my liaison report. Moving on to unfinished business, we have none. But we do have some new business, and our favorite staffer.
I was ready to roll.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot from over here to take a lot. Yeah.
God.
How about our most missed, because we don't get to see her.
Oh.
It's a rough crowd over here.
Absent makes the heart grow fonder.
I
Good afternoon, good evening, council members. I brought to, in front of you, our smallest of delinquents UB accounts to be, reported to our fiscal year 2027 tax roll. I think we've done a pretty good job after last year. And trying to contact those people that already moved out and make sure that they're paying their last bill. So I think I'm happy for that. And this year we only have these inactive accounts that need to be added to the tax roll. One thing that I would like to let you know is that because of the way our ordinance is written, we have to approve them to be added to the tax roll now. But I have had a couple of people that have contacted me and say, yeah, yes, I want to pay it, but I'm not gonna be able to pay it right now. So I told them, yes, you have until this date to pay it out. So the current owner doesn't have to deal with the extra penalties and interest in their taxes. So we might have a little less than we have right now.
And I'm not sure 100%. This is just for explanation purposes. A lot of times when people move, they don't pay their last water bill, and then we try to recoup that from the person who previously owned the property. The irony of this is that all of these people could theoretically put this on their title insurance to be paid. And I think it might do each of them a favor to let them know that before they pay it out of pocket, that their title insurance that they paid for when they bought the house can be used to offset this expense. So this is purely, people just might drop in when they sell their house, they move, nobody can get a hold of them, and then the new owner is required to pay their water bill that was left behind. So obviously that's not very fair. And of course, unless they decide to leave their last water bill for the next owner, and it just kind of perpetuates. I mean, I suppose that's a strategy, but if you want to balance the equation there. But what I'm missing a lot when we do this, and last year was very complicated because we had an extremely high, a couple of very, very large water bills. Are we recommending that they put it on their title insurance when we tell them that they owe us money as a favor?
We have, I'm not gonna say all of them, but the majority of them is people that they moved out and they don't even contact us to close their account.
Right.
So
But
if
the
they
new
don't-
owners can put it on their title insurance when their insurance would cover that bill if they're new residents,
Yes,
unless they're
we-
renting.
Some of them, we let them know,
Okay.
when they call to open their account, we let them know, hey, this is the protocol, this is what's gonna happen. You need to let them know, and they need to send a payment for that. But sometimes, not even the new owners call to, set a new account.
I gotcha.
So it's,
Complicated.
yes,
Okay.
it's complicated.
Is this list all inactive?
Yes, yes. The only way we can do this is once the account becomes inactive, we wait 6 months, and then it becomes delinquent. It's only on the, right now, we only have inactive account. We didn't have any active account delinquent.
Are you saying so, but every one of those addresses that does not have a new?
They do. And the current owners are, I send notices to let them know. Unfortunately, a previous owner did not pay their last water bill. And if they don't pay it before this day, it's gonna go to your taxes for this year.
Okay.
Some current owners have reached out to me, and then some have paid, some others have called me crazy. And others hasn't even called to the office to fix this. So we just need to move forward.
Yeah, yep. And with that, motion to authorize staff to report unpaid water, sewer rates and charges, including interest and penalties together with an additional penalty equal to 15% of the total to the tax assessing officer to apply them on the 2026 village tax roll in accordance with chapter 70 of the village code and applicable law.
So moved.
Support.
All right, and with that, any further discussion? All right, I believe we can do that with a voice vote. So all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Stolzenberg.
Yes. So, late yesterday, Mr. Smith and I received an email from Ms. Peters, indicating her desire to resign from the council. You all have a copy of that letter in front of you, along with the agenda report. I guess, I'll let Ms. Peters say, she wants it, or I guess if you want to let her talk about it, I guess, that'd be fine too, but, otherwise, council has to accept it, and then, the 45-day period in order to appoint somebody new begins today. Of course, council interviewed, several candidates, for 2 open positions yesterday, so if council chooses, they could appoint 3, of those candidates tonight to place the 3 open spots as of tonight.
Yeah,
Please.
well, I talked to y'all yesterday. You weren't there, but, yes. As many of you know, my fiance and I are expecting our first child, and it's, first term was kind of difficult, and it's been hard to make meetings due to illness or, some of my obligations, with work as well have gotten in the way, and, something I've been praying a lot about. And when I saw, I misnumbered it in my resignation letter, but we had 5 really good quality candidates, and with a lot of thought and prayer and discussion with family, we felt that would be an appropriate time to serve the village the best, to allow for people who actually can commit the time that is required for this position to step up and for me to step down. I feel that was in the best interest of the village. It was selfish of me to, for me, it was a selfish consideration for me to want to hang on just for the sake of hanging on, and it's not going to serve the village well. But I really wanted to finish my term, and it's been an honor to serve, and we did a lot of good work these last 3 years, and I'll miss y'all, and Yeah.
Just a few quick words that, again, it's hard to find good people. You certainly have been an amazing contributor and served as pro tem. And again, I think the best part of this type of service is when we can blend a variety of different perspectives together, and we weren't always a yes persons, which is always good. And we need that. And I think that anytime we can blend opposite opinions on things, that we meet in the middle and we find the right ground to ensure that we're making good decisions up here. So you've certainly been an integral part of a lot of the forward momentum that we've gone through in the last multiple years, and certainly appreciate it. So with that, a bit of a heavy heart, I'd like to frame this motion. Motion to accept Mackenzie Peters' resignation from village council effective at the adjournment of this meeting, and declare the office of village trustee vacant to be filled by appointment of the village council. Support.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, I had a hard time sleeping after our conversation last night, but I appreciate all the heartfelt.
I learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
And I really admire your knowledge and the way you dig into things. And I learned a lot from it. So I appreciate that over the last couple of years. I don't like to see you go out the door from last time.
Yeah.
But you were definitely a credit to this village.
Thank you so much, I appreciate that.
Well, we can invite her
visit
back to
the
receive
baby.
a certificate too, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll come visit. You know, I gotta bring the baby and show the, you know, I'll keep track of things.
Okay, any other discussion, comments? All right.
Do I vote?
Yes.
Yes.
You're required.
You need your vote.
Duty.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
So with that, you got 3 openings to appoint if you choose to appoint.
Can I back up for 1 second? Do you want to do that motion to waive your own policy to post that, or do you want?
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I think we should, because we had a number of candidates that we've reviewed. We certainly don't need to post it, so we do have to formally waive the policy regarding posting the open board position. I suppose I can go ahead and make that motion. So I'd like to make a motion to waive the policy regarding the open board position and not to publish and post village trustee vacancy at this time.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion about that? All right, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Now with that, you have 3 openings and you have 5 candidates that you interviewed last night. So all of the seats would be up for election November of this year. Remind me, how many are a 4-year and how many are a 2-year?
We will have 3 4-year and 1 2-year. Nope. I just did this today. Those 2 4-year are good, so we're gonna have. We have to elect 4 people, right? So it's 3 and 1.
4 people, including the president, or 4 trustees?
4 trustees, because you have 2 trustees that will go for 2 more years.
Yep.
So we need to do 4 more trustees. Yes, because Steve is up on the 20th as well.
Yes.
So you're gonna have 3 4-year terms and 1 2-year term.
Okay.
So people who choose to run for office will have to choose one of those terms when they fill out those petitions.
Correct.
By July something.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, this is happening on an off year for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you and John are good for 2 more years.
So, I guess as a precursor, I just want to lay the foundation and make sure everybody is very clear about how we came to this decision. We met with the 5 candidates. We interviewed them. We have a set of questions. We asked everybody the same question. And then at the end, we deliberated with regard to just sharing our thoughts about each candidate. And in my time of sitting on this council, I don't know if I've ever seen a group of candidates that were so strong that it was so complicated to come to a conclusion. So all 5 were exceptional in my mind, and I think would benefit the village tremendously in their participation in whatever form of government. So I do want to lead in saying that because, again, I've said it several times this evening, finding good people is very complicated and difficult. And this is a volunteer position at best. And, but it's also directionally an incredibly important role that we participate in our community and help guide the village to hopefully do the right thing in the long term. So it's
And there should definitely be some, I know you had some deliberation last night, but there should definitely be some discussion and
for sure
deliberation tonight too, so.
So I think from our deliberation last night, we're going to be carrying forward 3 of the candidates. I think we should obviously have additional commentary if we want to discuss the content that we received last night from the interviews. And I'm going to start with Mr. Pat Hilton. If you have any comments or would like to discuss strong points, the notes that we took last night. And while you're digging that out, I guess I'll leave Mr. Hilton, Chief Operating Officer for company that he works for. Some of his goals for the community would be affordable housing. Like to see the businesses in downtown thrive, which I think the village does a really great job of supporting the businesses here, but certainly we are setting up for a much stronger support system, and then supporting the schools or finding ways to connect with the schools. He had some great comments with regard to how he deals with decision-making. He actually seeks out dissenting views and leans into them so that he can understand both sides. He, like myself, is very data-driven, so he doesn't want to just get the what, but he wants to understand the why and get a very round perspective on that. So he had some great answers. I felt really felt that in terms of his contributions, I think he would be here to shake things up a little bit with regard to challenging some of the decisions that we make, and would open things up for some nice lively conversation, which I think we certainly could use.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Pat Hilton to the one of the trustee positions.
Would either of you like to comment?
Yeah, everything you said, I
Probably,
appreciate it.
we got a second before.
I'll support.
Sure.
Go ahead.
He made a point of saying that he looked at, I was looking for people, working with people in opposing positions too, so. And being in the business he's in, he's used to people with a lot of different opinions on how things should be done. So I appreciated that.
Same thing, he said that he would dig into an issue and educate himself on it. I'm sure we'll have some lively discussions, which I really think we need. But he said in the end, he would go with the majority on how they would vote. And the one thing that I really took off from him was when he said, I don't know, but I'll find out. That was important with me. You know, he got put on the spot and didn't fabricate nothing, and he said, I don't know, but I'll find out. And to me, that was really a key answer for his background, education, his experience and stuff. It speaks for itself. Those are the things that stood out.
What I like most about Pat is not only the nature of his role as a COO, but as a character, he presented himself very knowledgeable on conflict resolution and critical thinking and problem solving, and he has the ability to commit the time. And he struck me as a man that if he puts his name on something, he's going to make sure it's done correctly. And he seemed very community driven. And I think that was important. So those are all my key points for selecting him.
I was slinging feed at Tractor Supply, so I did not take part in the interview, so I don't really have a personal opinion.
All right, well, we have a motion with support to, we've done a good job of discussing, so I believe we're gonna go ahead and do a roll call vote. Actually, I guess we could do voice.
What's up to you?
Yeah, we can do voice.
Okay.
So we have a motion to approve the appointment of Mr. Pat Hilton as Village of Middleville Council trustee for a term expiring November 20th, 2026. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And moving on to the next candidate, which would be, I wrote that completely down wrong. Stand by, please. Ms. Susan Shannon. Again, I think reading through the resume, a lot of her experience speaks for itself. Some of her vision is downtown development. She stated that she's very interested in focusing on the neighborhood, and communication was a big point for her. Modernizing, keeping up with change. Obviously, our village is going through a lot of change. And I think that certainly could use a lot of attention as we continue to do projects. She certainly has a strong background in budgeting and accounting, and when we review our budget for approval, it's always a good time, but certainly has experience doing that. So given her role, certainly think that she has a pretty firm understanding of budgeting and finances. She's very even-keeled and humble, and certainly a lot of great qualities for public service. And I think that's something that we certainly could lean in on. with each other and as we continue to make choices, sometimes not so easy. So certainly was a very strong candidate.
I gave her credit too for being budget-minded. She said she would definitely be into oversight, which I found. I gave her points for being thick-skinned when we talked about being criticized on Facebook or face-to-face and that type of thing, which we do. That she'd be able to smile, take it, and move on. And even though we all know we sometimes would like it, but I gave her credit for, I think she would, same thing, would be able to discuss issues. Maybe she'd be on the A side or the B side, but still take the majority decision. And I thought it was, she said she'd be available for meetings. Said she'd devote time to training and so on and so forth. And to me, that was a plus.
In the budget side too, and the insurance, the question about $1 million to the township, there was a pause and then it almost immediately said, I'd have to evaluate. And I think there was, a sign that he's not gonna do a lot of knee-jerk reactions to things.
What I liked about her, she seemed to not have a problem to speak her mind. She was very confident in what she was saying, even when she didn't know the answer of something, but she seemed very strong in conviction. And with her experience in accounting and a business owner in the community, and her longevity of living in the community, I felt she would be an appropriate fit. Having worked in healthcare, I can tell you gotta juggle a lot of things at once, and you gotta be knowledgeable about almost everything. So I have faith that she'll be able to digest information and make rational decisions, and will voice her opinion on it and be strong about it. So that's what I liked about her.
I know.
Again, I'm sleepy on this one. I might have been feeling propane.
May have been. All right, I guess I could use a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right,
Since it's my last meeting, I'll be selfish.
there you go.
To appoint Susan Shannon to village trustee council term expiring November 2026.
Support. Motion with support. We've already had our discussion. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Trying to get to my notes here. There we go. Okay, and for the final slot, which happens to open today after this council meeting. We met with Sandra Wake, and some of the key points that I took away. Number one, she's lived here her whole life, which is, I think, huge. She's seen a lot of change and certainly has been witness to a lot of growth that we've gone through, but more importantly, to make Middleville your forever home, I think that's a big deal. Certainly could see some improvements with regard to the direction of the village. Mentioned communication, and sometimes we're not so good at communicating what happens here to the public. I think she had some really balanced responses with regard to the social media, question with regard to negative comments, and just in general, even during meeting dissent in general, when you get feedback from your neighborhood and whatnot. I felt like she had a really good response there. another person who understands finances. I think one of my favorite characteristics is, again, she leans into issues, whether they're problems or topics, and wants to learn about them and solve them. And I feel like, again, critical thinking being part of that. I think solving some of the problems that we have here in the village does require a lot of thought and careful contemplation. So I enjoyed her answers she provided during the interview regarding that topic.
We hit most of the same things, communication, and there's about 3 things. Communication was top one, so, very good candidate.
I liked a couple of her answers that we haven't talked about, but one was when she asked about a water tower, well, that type of thing. She immediately says, I don't know anything about infrastructure, but I'll learn. And to me, that was a key answer there. Anybody knows what it costs to put in, JD does, water towers and wells and that type of stuff, they're incredibly expensive. And it takes a lot of research to figure out how to pay for them, where they can be put, if they'll prove out to be, and so on and so forth. There isn't just something you talk about on Monday and you're doing it on Tuesday. I mean, there's quite a process to it. And I was really impressed with her answer on that. And she said she'd be available for all our meetings, that type of thing. And she'd be more than willing to take training for what they're all gonna have to take training for. So for that, I gave it a plus.
All right. Guess I'll make a motion, just because it's easier. It's sitting in front of me. Oh, what was that? Oh, I'm sorry. No,
No, that's all right.
I'm sorry. Totally skipped you.
That's all right. Right. I didn't need an interview to meet with Sandy, just because I know her professionally and personally, and even though the interview, she was very polite and answering the questions, I also know her to be very capable and strong, and she really means it when she says she's gonna find an answer for you. She's done a lot of good things in the community. She's done a lot of volunteering in the community. She does a lot of things with her business that started as a little franchise and has grown into one of the biggest senior placement agencies in the region. And so I personally feel that if anyone's capable of doing this job, it would be Sandy. She's gonna give everything she has for it, and she will speak her mind. And I'm not afraid of that at all. Yes.
We haven't been exposed to that.
Right. So, can I also be selfish?
Of course.
Everybody has me.
Wait, what were you doing?
I actually, in this one particular case, I have an opinion on it.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
I worked with Sandy in the past and look forward to working with her again. She's a wonderful person and has always seemed capable of me. She was far higher on the food chain than I was, so it'd be neat to be at somewhat of an equivalent level.
So with that, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Sandra Wake as Village of Middleville Council Trustee to a term expiring November 20th, 2026.
Super.
All right, we have a motion with support. We've already done our discussion, so voice vote would count. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I think just to conclude, there is plenty of room. The DDA has several slots available as well, and I think, given the fact that really it was very complicated to come to this conclusion, but I think all in all, anybody that came to an interview last night and endured the the board review, I feel like there's certainly still a place, a very active place in our community for that. So I would strongly recommend that you get with Craig and get more information about that, because it would be a shame to let you off the hook, especially. So.
Do you want me to tell you what's open?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Rhonda what's open exactly. So-
We have one, probably 2 spots on the Housing Commission. We have a spot on the Zoning Board of Appeals. We have a spot on the Planning Commission. We have, I believe, 2 spots on the DDA. There are requirements there. You have to either live in that district, work, or own property in that district.
Or a business in the district.
Or a business, yes. But
Which I
we
think
definitely have
a
some,
home business would qualify for that, right?
if you're in the district.
If you're in the district.
Yeah. Mhm. And I have a map of the district if anyone would like to look at that.
I'm pretty sure it qualifies.
And very,
So,
We talked about last night, alternate too.
yeah, I think, I mean, that's for our back pocket, really, but.
Okay.
All right, moving on. And thank you, by the way, all candidates for applying.
Absolutely. Thank you.
In your packet, boards and commission, draft minutes from the DDA minutes of March 3rd. In your, also additional informational items, and correspondence, should be reviewed. That brings us to public comment. Would anybody like to speak publicly? Fair enough. All right, Mr. Bishop, I'll start you off on final council comment.
I spent the day over at CapCon, and there's all sorts of interesting stuff over there. It's a little weird hearing the MML talking about ADUs and how they could negatively impact your ability to plan for your community. But they were talking about infrastructure and like water and sewer. But then at the same time, while I was going around the expo hall, I was talking with the lady from Mount Pleasant, and they gain and lose 15,000 people throughout the year because of the college. So if a town like that can plan their infrastructure to be able to handle 15,000 people coming in and out, and in recent years, she was saying that those numbers are actually dropping dramatically because of various political decisions and you know, at the college level and at the national level. But so even those numbers aren't stable. So I have a hard time believing that ADUs create, you know, such a problem that it couldn't be overcome if a town that can have a college. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff over there that is interesting, but I think it might be a little bit off base.
It just occurred to me about 30 seconds ago, I should have wrote some things down for my final council comments. But a couple of things to those coming in is just know that even though we have formal meetings twice a month, there are additional workshops, there's additional training, there's additional committees, there's additional volunteering that if your heart's really in it, that this job to do it really requires. And it is, as Kevin said, mostly volunteer. And so I'm confident that those that are coming into this role that have been appointed tonight have the heart and the time to be able to fill those obligations, because I don't know, but I hope that our community does recognize how much time and effort and personal time and effort it takes to do this role. Not just discovery over the weekend for the meeting, but everything else that goes with it. I want to thank the community that had elected me in about 3.5 years ago. I ran on reputation alone. I didn't do anything else. And so I want to thank those that voted for me and put me in this position. It certainly has been an honor to serve the community. And I want to thank the members of this board that were here when I started, that are no longer here, and also those that have come and gone and are currently here for the last 3 years. Y'all have been great. Y'all have taught me a lot. Sometimes taught me a lot of patience, but also taught me that we can find common ground more than we can find disagreements. And so I really appreciate this board. I appreciate the diversity of thought. I appreciate everything you guys do for the community on this board. And my biggest chunk of gratitude, I think, is gonna go to staff. You guys put up with a lot of junk. And to be honest, I was one of those thorns in your side when I first started, you know? But I learned real quick that things are a lot more complex than just decision to decision. You've gotta have history, you've gotta have knowledge, and you've gotta look at the general picture, and through your patience and your consistency and your helping of communicating things and making sure I was given everything I needed to be able to make proper decisions. You guys are great. And I just want to thank you guys so much for everything you do every day. You're not thanked a whole lot, and you should be really thanked every day.
Thank you.
Yep. And I'm gonna miss this, but as I said earlier, it's a selfish decision for me to hang on to this when I know I can't guarantee my time consistency to this role. So thank you again, and that's all I got for my final comments. So.
John?
Well, I want to talk to Mackenzie. I appreciate the time I had and what you're almost a quarter. I've learned a lot from you. I don't want to repeat Steve, but I did. I mean, I walked in this totally green. I learned a lot from you and all the other members as well. And just appreciate you and miss you. And I would wanted to say something to the people who didn't get chosen. Don't miss the opportunity. There's open positions to still get involved in the town and with the village. And if nothing else, with the caliber of the people we saw, put your name in the hat at election time. That's only November. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. We want to do, I think I went on my reputation as much as I'll admit I didn't knock doors. I didn't, but we're true. I saw a lot of heart in the people that were here. So don't let it go away.
I'd like to thank everyone that applied, and those that didn't get chosen, I'm just gonna say what everybody else has said. There's openings on the ZBA and the Planning Commission and all the other boards we have, and they're a great learning tool. You can't believe what the Planning Commission does until you actually sit there, and it's a pretty challenging role. The Zoning Board of Appeals, same thing. You have the wherewithal to make a decision whether someone can use a property a certain way to get a zoning variance or not, that may or may not offend them, how you vote, as well as some commercial aspects of it. And the ZBA, to me, is quite a powerful board, but you'll learn about zoning and property setbacks and all kinds of things that'll, when you come into this, will really help when we talk about budgets and master plans and all that type of thing. It's a great way to start learning that curve. I'm on this council, I'm on Planning Commission, and liaison with the township library board that we have internally. Well, I'll approve bills, that type of stuff. If you get ready for a meeting, it sometimes takes me 2 or 3 days to do my research, discovery, and come prepared. That's the key, is to come prepared, as far as I'm concerned. But a lot of times you don't talk so much here because you already have well versed yourself, but I cannot begin to thank Mackenzie enough. I just can't. I was in a pretty good hand there. But with that, think that's all I got, yes. I'd like to thank JD for the snow removal. It's appreciated.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate those guys being out there in the dark, salting the corners and that type of stuff before the school buses and stuff get out of there. You guys did a great job.
You know, a wise man said, I think it'd be said in one sentence, that's the sentence you choose. So I think everybody has certainly shared their opinions about the candidates and certainly about the process. So I'm gonna leave that lay and just appreciate the process for sure, and that we came to the conclusion that we did. Mackenzie, again, I'm not gonna repeat everything that everybody's already said. I think you and I've had multiple, countless phone calls and deliberations, and your opinion and your guidance will be sorely missed. The community is very lucky to have you, and you should find your way back to public service at any capacity. The village of Middleville is only better because you're part of it. So thank you for that. And with that, I believe a motion is in order.
Mr. President, for the final time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Give a motion with support. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Meeting adjourned.
So,
Forget the other two.
but congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know how to feel right now.